Foss here from Foss and Fern. Got a tutorial for you. This goldfish plant has bugs. So let's investigate. See what kind of bugs they are, see what we need to do about it. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is remove it from its hanger. If there were any other plants around, I would isolate it from the other plants immediately and check the other plants for bugs as well, because bugs are very, very contagious. If this was on a plant shelf with other plants, you would assume that those other plants have the bugs as well. But this is hanging by itself. There's no other plants around. That's a preserved hanging, so no other live plants around. Next step is to sanitize the container and unpot this plant and see what's going on underneath. Okay, so this is the plant that has the bugs. I'm pretty sure it's thrips because they are black bugs and they look like thrip shape. But I'm not seeing any moving around. So I'm gonna see what I can do to save this plant. Now, your first step when you discover bugs or pests on one of your houseplants, your first step is to isolate that plant from any other plants around it. The bugs are very contagious. Like I said, they'll jump from plant to plant. So you need to immediately remove that plant from Gen Pop and see what is going on with your surrounding plants. Look for bugs, look for signs of bugs, and you're going to treat those other plants that were surrounding, definitely anything touching, but anything surrounding that plant, you're going to treat preemptively for bugs. Even if you don't see them, eggs come first, and eggs you can't see. So generally. So that's step number one. Step number two, I'm gonna speak a hard, cold truth into the room. And that hard, cold truth is you need to decide if you want to save this plant. How do you feel about the plant? Is it your favorite plant? Does it define your style? It pulls the room together. It brings you joy. It was given to you by your mother-in-law 30 years ago. You love this plant. Or is it, meh? It's a spectrum. And if you're over here, it might just be time to say goodbye to the plant. Because getting rid of pests is arduous, it's tricky, and it doesn't always work. You might do a lot of work and still lose the plant. So if you are not emotionally invested in this plant, it might just go straight into the compost and done's done. If you love the plant, let's work on saving it. There's a few different, so like I said, it's a spectrum. There's a few different things you can do in terms of care. One thing that you could do if you see active live bugs all over your plant, the like hardcore, like take a hatchet to it and like fix the situation, is you cut the entire plant off, you unpot, you remove all the soil, so you have a clean root ball. You clean that root ball, you wash it with mild soap or rubbing alcohol. You then put it in fresh soil and the stub of what was once the plant hopefully grows back. That's an extreme version. For me, with this plant, I like this plant. I would say I love this plant. And it is very healthy other than the bugs. It's very healthy. So I am gonna split the difference. I'm not gonna cut the entire thing off because I like this plant and I like what it's doing. I like what I think that and we're gonna see what we can do. So what I'm gonna do, my first step is going to be to gather my tools. I've got hand sanitizer, ethyl alcohol, because bugs. Okay, this in this little spray bottle is rubbing alcohol. Got scissors, got some paper towels, a rag or towel, some gloves, because bugs, and this is in a bottle that I filled up, but it is neem oil. Neem oil is my favorite pest deterrent. It's naturally occurring pesticide and fungicide, and it is safe for pets, babies, for your own skin. It's safe and it does the trick if you use it properly. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna find all of the bugs that I can, every piece of leaf that I find with bugs. I'm either going to, if there's like a lot of bugs, I'm gonna cut them off. If there's a few bugs, I'm gonna clean the leaf with the rubbing alcohol and the towel. And the first thing we're gonna do is get rid of all the bugs. Okay, I'm spraying with the alcohol and the bugs are coming off under my fingers. This is why I have the gloves. I'm gonna put the gloves on. This is what the gloves are for. So this one I'm cutting off because, can we see this? All along the stem is covered in bugs. And I could painstakingly clean them all off, but I'm gonna trim instead. Okay, so I think I have a lot of the bugs taken care of that were on the plant. So an important thing to say, when I said that I think it's thrips, I'm pretty sure it's thrips, but whether it's mealybugs, spider mites, thrips, aphids, really anything except like whiteflies or fungus gnats, you're treating it the same way. The only difference with, like, you're basically like, is it a bug that's stuck onto the plant or is it a bug that's flying around the plant? And if it's a bug that's flying around the plant, you want to put like a sticky paper or like some sort of trap in there to catch the flying bugs, as opposed to this process of like getting the bugs off of the leaf. But either way, your two-step process is to get rid of the bugs that are there and then get rid of the eggs that might be there. I am not seeing any movement on these bugs. I think that they are dead. I think that these bugs infested this plant a while ago and I didn't notice, and then they died. I think that's what happened. But I'm not making any assumptions. We're gonna get in there and see. So I think I have all the bugs off of the leaves. This is usually, depending on how painstaking that process is, this is usually a good time to check in on your emotional scale and see how you're feeling about the plant. If you're ready to keep going, or if you're ready to say goodbye. It's okay to say goodbye. But I'm gonna keep going. All right, so what I'm gonna do is unpot the plant and see what's going on with the roots and underneath. So as I said, I had it in a separate container. This is my favorite setup. It's a nursery pot in a decorative container. The nursery pots make it so easy to unpot, repot, see what's going on. All right, what is going on? Okay, so what we want to do is get as much dirt off of the root ball as possible. And because this is a pest situation, I'm actually gonna like clean off the root ball and get all of the dirt off. And then we'll repot it in fresh soil and treat with the neem oil so that hopefully the bugs are gone, the eggs are gone, and they don't come back. So if you're seeing any of this shiny pieces, that's actually vermiculite. This was a clipping from one of my mother's plants, and she propagated it in vermiculite. And when I potted it into soil, when it was ready to move into soil, I just put the whole root ball with all the vermiculite on it into the soil. So that's what those shiny bits are. Those are not problematic. Okay, so far, this root ball is looking really healthy. This is looking This is looking really healthy. I'm not seeing any root rot or any problems. But because I want to make sure no eggs are moving into the next pot, I'm going to go ahead and wash this out. And just a bowl full of water will really help to loosen a lot of that soil off of the root ball so you can really see what's going on. And get in there with your fingers. Just really get the dirt off. Okay, so this root ball is looking really good. I am not seeing any activity in there. I'm not seeing any root rot. And normally, usually when I have an infested plant like this, I see bugs when I unplant it. And I am not seeing anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some fresh soil for this plant and see what we can do. While I have it out though, I'm also going to wash all of the leaves just to really get rid of any bugs that I missed, get the alcohol off of the leaves, the rubbing alcohol that I was using to clean it. And at this point, you could use a really mild soap to do that, which I might do that. I'm gonna do that. This old dirt is done because the risk of there being bugs in it is too high. So this goes into the yard. And I'm gonna sanitize this container before I use it again. Guys, I'm usually in my studio and I have a lot more space and a bigger sink and a lot more space. But we're doing some work on the studio right now, so I'm in my kitchen, and trying to contain this in my kitchen is pretty hilarious. Okay. Oh, this container we could sanitize to reuse, but I have a million of these, so I'm just gonna grab a new one. So I've got some Dawn soap and a spray bottle. Really mild. Dawn, cleans the ducts after the oil spills, so very mild, good soap. And I'm just going to, there's a lot of tiny little leaves on this plant, but I'm just going to gently wash them. It's like giving a little shampoo. Okay. We lost a few more leaves, but that's okay. And now I'm gonna rinse this off and get ready to get this lady back in some soil. Okay, so we've got new pot. I always put a coffee filter on the bottom so that good, great fresh soil does not fall through those holes. So, coffee filter, little square of toilet paper will do the trick too, or paper towel, and fresh potting soil. So, nestle that in there, and then fill up with the fresh soil. This plant was also really one-sided. I had not been doing a very good job of turning it, so it had been facing, one side had been facing the window for a really long time, and that's when I finally turned it, saw all the bugs and realized that I had been missing something. So with this repot, we can hopefully even her out a little bit more too. Get her a little bit more balanced. Okay, so we have removed all the bugs we saw. We washed the plant, all the leaves. We unpotted and checked out the roots, which look good. We potted her back up in some fresh soil. Everything is nice and clean now. And what I'm gonna do, normally I would water once I repot a plant, give it a good water. But because that root ball was so drenched, and I am about to spray it with neem oil, which is cut with water, I'm gonna skip the watering for now. Because one of the things that is a breeding ground for pests is overwatered plants. Soil that is wet naturally is a breeding ground for fungus and bugs and all kinds of things. So I wanted to make sure not to overwater. This plant was also in the bathroom, which might be why it was prone to bugs. I don't know. But this is my neem oil. It is concentrated. I add a little bit of neem oil to the water. You can find it in any garden center. Follow the instructions. And what we're going to do is we're going to treat the plant and all the plants. If it was near any plants, all the plants around it, I would preemptively treat with the neem oil. And we're just going to spray it. And because the neem oil is diluted with water, it's also getting a good watering right now. But you really want to make sure the top layer of soil is saturated with the neem oil. It's a horrible spraying sound. And what you want to do, particularly with vining plants like this, where the leaves grow up the branch, you want to like hold a branch up and spray so that the neem oil drips down and gets into all of those nooks and crannies where bugs like to be. And there you go. This is my plan of attack. Wash my hands again, because bugs. All right, I've got my sanitized container. Going to plop her back in. She is well watered. She's in fresh soil. She is clean. And because there are no other plants where she was in her location, I can put her right back in her same location, so she's not dealing with a shift in light. And we're gonna keep an eye on it. We're gonna keep an eye on the bugs. I'm going to spray with the neem oil every few days until I'm sure and confident that the bugs are totally gone and we have a happy, healthy goldfish plant again. And we'll see how it goes. All right. Thanks for following along. See you next time.